So we're going to have a little fun here, and we're going to start this photo and bring it to life. This is a raw photo, a shot straight out of the camera. I used I believe my 35. I had my ISO at 400. My f-stop was at 2.0. My exposure was 3200. And that was shot with my Nikon D750. So the first thing that I do is I check out my exposure and my white balance. I'm not loving the white balance at all. It's very magenta to me, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give this one a shot. And I'm not loving it, so I'm going to undo it. And then I'm going to bring my little dropper guy over to the white section, see if I like it, which I don't, so I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to do it by hand. I think they're looking a little too magenta for me. So now that I've established a nice white balance, I'd say, which is the first thing I do, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my exposure before I put the preset on. I do have a couple presets I like to use, and I've also created them. The only presets I really use is Don Charles. I don't know why, I love hers. I've bought different ones and they just didn't resonate with me personally, so I like to stick with Dawn. I do prefer her first one. She has three now actually. She just came out with a new one, which I think is what kind of inspired me to go ahead and just do this video, because I have nothing better to do, so why not? So I'm going to show you what I did to create my preset down here, and I might even just like create it also, so you can see how you can create a preset from a preset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look at the different ones and see which ones I like the best. Which would be this one. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of check out and see like how the photo is looking, as far as like, is it too much? Is it, you know, like I want my photos to look very classic and not like too overly done, you know? So I feel like it's got a little bit too much blacks going on in here. So I'm going to lift those just a little bit. It's a little too bright on the side. As you can see, like you can see the changes that have been made so far. Next thing I'm going to do is, I'm not completely satisfied. It's so funny because the longer I'm a photographer, the more I grow, and this photo was taken literally over a year ago, and I feel like I've already changed so much since this, but I still wanted to do it anyways because it's a good classic wedding. Anyways, I'm not loving their skin still, so I'm going to come down here and check out the shadows. I'm going to bring up the green, and then that's going to make me have to come over and do more tweaking, because obviously it's going to make it a little bit too magenta, but I just do not love green in my shadows ever. So we're going to leave all this as it is. I don't want it any more green, so I'm going to come over here, and I like to use, personally, everybody's different. There's an HSL slider here where you can play with it that way, or you can play with the color slider, which is what I've been doing. I don't know why. It's just kind of how, I'm kind of a creature of habit, so it's just kind of how I've always done it. Over here, the saturations of the reds are a little high, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. I like my hues of oranges to be on the yellower side. Oops. The split toning is really important for me too. So I'm looking at her skin right now, and you can see the oranges in the shadows. She uses over here. Dawn. She puts a good amount of orange in the shadows. So I don't really mess with that too much, but lately on my newer work, I've been putting yellow in the highlights, but bring it down a little bit. I don't know if it's going to work too well in this photo, so we're going to find out. Let's pull out. I like things to look as natural as possible, you know. I also bring up the sharpening. I bring up the luminance because it makes her skin look really nice. Sometimes I'll bring a little bit vignetting or vignetting or whatever you call that, vignetting. Sometimes I'll bring it in a little bit just because why not? But in this photo, I'm going to leave it off. But like I said, you know, I've grown as a photographer within this year, and it's not completely to my liking. I like my stuff shot much different. I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so I'm liking it the way it is so far. Just gonna pull this up a little bit. And what the tone curve does is it like, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it a lot more crispy. And this is how I'm making it my own. You know, like I do use a preset, but I just play with it and try different things. Did you see how that did that to the black? So
Want a break from the ads? If you tap now to watch a short video, you'll receive 30 minutes of ad.
here's a little before and after. And I'm going to bring the whites up just a little bit. So now that I feel like pretty satisfied with this photo, the skin colors are pretty good. I mean, it's still a little bit on the Magneto side, but like I said, I shoot really different now, and I think something that I did with this, I don't really know what it is. It's crazy.